Have you ever had a day where you felt a little stuck, like the hours were just passing by and you weren't quite sure where your energy went or what to do with it? It happens more than we like to admit, especially as we get older and some of life's responsibilities start to quiet down. The house might be emptier, the calendar less crowded. And while that might sound relaxing at first, it can also leave us wondering, what's next? What do we fill the space with? Here's the truth. Retirement and life after 60 aren't just about slowing down. They're about rediscovering yourself. You finally have the time to do the things you always said you would. But where do you start? The answer is simpler than you think. You start with joy. And one of the best ways to do that? Picking up a hobby. Not just any hobby, but one that lights you up and boosts your health at the same time. In this video, we're diving into 7 fun, easy hobbies you can try that don't just fill your time, they nourish your body, your brain, and your spirit. These aren't activities you have to be perfect at. They're things you can enjoy, explore, and grow with. And sometimes that spark of enjoyment is exactly what your health needs. Let's begin with something that's often overlooked, but incredibly powerful: gardening. Now, before you start picturing bending over for hours in the hot sun or hauling heavy bags of soil, hear me out. Gardening doesn't have to be physically demanding. Even a small container garden on a porch or balcony can offer enormous benefits. There's something about working with your hands, digging in the dirt, nurturing something from seed to bloom. It's calming. It slows you down in the best way. It helps lower stress, reduces blood pressure, and gives your body a gentle form of movement that keeps the joints engaged without strain. Plus, being outside, even for just a few minutes a day, helps your body soak up vitamin D, which supports your bones, immune system, and mood. I know one gentleman in his late 70s who started with a single tomato plant in a bucket. He wasn't sure what he was doing. He just wanted to see if it would grow. And now, 2 years later, his back patio is a full-on vegetable oasis. He told me it's the one thing that gets him out of bed in the morning with purpose. And the bonus? He's eating healthier too because he's growing it himself. Now, if gardening isn't your thing, maybe you're someone who loves words. Or maybe you've got stories bottled up inside you that haven't had a place to land. That's where writing or journaling comes in. Writing is one of those hobbies that costs nothing, requires no special equipment, and can be done anywhere, anytime. And yet, the benefits are enormous. When you write regularly, whether it's a daily journal, a collection of memories, poetry, or even short stories, it stimulates your brain in ways that strengthen memory, focus, and emotional balance. Writing helps you process your thoughts, reflect on your experiences, and even make sense of the past in a way that brings peace and clarity. One woman I met started journaling every night after her husband passed. It began as a way to process her grief, but over time, she found that her mood improved, her sleep got better, and she began to feel more connected to herself. Eventually, she started writing short stories based on her childhood, and now? Her grandkids beg her to read them at every family gathering. Writing isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. Putting your thoughts to paper, whether handwritten or typed, gives your mind a place to rest and expand at the same time. And that's powerful. Another beautiful and surprising hobby that's making a comeback among people over 60 is dancing. Not just ballroom dancing or fancy steps, though those are wonderful if you enjoy them, but even just moving to music in your living room, swaying to a favorite tune, or trying a gentle dance class at a local community center. Dancing does wonders for your body. It improves balance, strengthens your heart, boosts flexibility, and keeps your muscles engaged. But perhaps even more importantly, it lifts your mood. Music touches the part of the brain responsible for emotion, and when you combine it with movement, you create a cocktail of feel-good chemicals that can shake off sadness, energize your day, and even lower your risk of cognitive decline. There's something magical about dancing that breaks the rules of age. You don't need to be fast. You don't need perfect rhythm. You just need to let yourself feel the music and move. I've seen people in their 80s light up like they're 25 again, all because of one good song and a little bit of courage to get up and move. And that's the heart of this conversation. It's not about doing things perfectly, it's about doing them joyfully. Whether it's planting a seed, writing a memory, or dancing to your favorite song, the hobbies you choose should make you feel alive. They should help you reconnect with the version of yourself that gets excited about waking up in the morning. That's the kind of health we often overlook, the kind that starts in the heart and spreads to the body. There's something truly special about discovering joy again in simple things. And after 60, joy isn't just a luxury, it's a form of self-care. When we find activities that light us up, it's like we plug back into a part of ourselves we thought had gone quiet. And those little sparks, they're powerful. They can improve your energy, your mood, your relationships, even the way you sleep at night. Now, we've already talked about a few beautiful ways to reconnect with that spark. Let's keep going with something that combines creativity, focus, and hands-on satisfaction: crafting. Maybe you've always been good with your hands, or maybe you've never thought of yourself as artistic at all. Either way, crafting is a wonderful, low-pressure hobby that gives your brain something constructive and calming to focus on. Whether it's knitting, quilting, woodwork, pottery, or even simple DIY projects like wreath making or painting birdhouses, creating something from nothing feels incredibly fulfilling. And it's not just about keeping your hands busy. It's about stimulating your brain. Fine motor skills, attention to detail, pattern recognition, and even a little problem solving all come into play. That's why crafting has been shown to improve cognitive function, reduce stress, and even ease symptoms of anxiety and depression. I know a man named Robert who picked up woodworking after retirement. He started with a simple bench for his garden, then a spice rack, and now he's the go-to guy in his community for custom furniture. He says it keeps his mind sharp and gives him a sense of pride that nothing else did after he left his career. That's the thing about hobbies. They remind you of what you're still capable of. Now, maybe you prefer something more social, something that brings people together around a table or in a circle of conversation. That's where group hobbies come into play, especially things like playing cards, board games, or even joining a trivia night at a local community center. These kinds of hobbies do more than just pass the time. They create connection. They get you talking, laughing, thinking. And every time you play, you're exercising your brain in ways that build memory, improve reaction time, and sharpen your focus. Social hobbies help protect against loneliness, which is a major factor in long-term health, especially mental and emotional well-being. One woman I met, her name was Irene, told me that her weekly bridge group was the highlight of her week. It wasn't about winning, it was about the company, the laughter, the familiar faces, that little ritual of showing up and being seen. And honestly, that kind of emotional nourishment is every bit as important as physical activity, because we're not meant to go through life alone. Speaking of movement and connection, one of the most surprisingly powerful hobbies you can try is something as simple as walking with intention. I know, walking doesn't sound like a hobby, right? But it absolutely can be. When you turn walking into a routine, a practice, even a little adventure, it becomes more than just exercise. It becomes a ritual of well-being. Maybe you explore a new neighborhood each week, or join a walking group in your area, or simply walk the same quiet path each morning while listening to music or a podcast that lifts your spirit. Walking improves circulation, joint health, digestion, sleep, and brain function. And even better, it helps regulate mood by lowering stress hormones and increasing feel-good chemicals like serotonin and dopamine. A couple I know, married over 40 years, started doing sunset walks each evening. It's their way of winding down, catching up, and staying active. They say it's improved not just their health, but their relationship. And that's the kind of impact a small daily habit can have. It strengthens more than just muscles. Now, I want to pause and say this. You don't need to be perfect at any of this. You don't need to turn your hobby into a business or a masterpiece. You don't need to impress anyone or meet a quota. This time in your life is for you. It's about reconnecting with curiosity. It's about waking up and feeling excited to try something new, or to return to something you used to love but maybe let go of along the way. Your hobbies don't need to make money. They don't need to be shared on social media. They don't need to be anything but yours. And if you've ever told yourself, I'm too old to start something new, I want you to gently let that thought go. Because it's simply not true. You are not too old. Your brain is still capable of growing. Your body still responds to movement. Your heart still knows how to light up. And your joy is still waiting for you. Whether you're painting for the first time in decades, learning how to bake something new, playing a game with friends, or simply walking outside with your eyes open to the beauty around you, you are nurturing a healthier version of yourself. One that moves, thinks, connects, and thrives. There's something powerful that happens when you stop living on autopilot and start living with intention. And hobbies, especially the ones that bring you joy, are one of the simplest ways to step back into that kind of living. They remind you that no matter your age, there's still so much to explore, to laugh about, to look forward to. Now, there's one more hobby I want to share that often goes unnoticed, but has a beautiful way of bringing both calm and clarity into your life. It's birdwatching. Yes, birdwatching. You might think it's just standing around looking at trees, but it's so much more than that. It teaches you patience. It sharpens your attention, and it reconnects you to the natural rhythm of life. There's a reason so many people find peace in this simple practice. Observing nature, listening to birdsong, tuning into the movement and color of the world, it draws your focus outward in a way that feels grounding and healing. Birdwatching has been shown to reduce anxiety, lower blood pressure, and even enhance feelings of joy and gratitude. You don't need to know every species or carry fancy binoculars. Just sit in a quiet spot with a notebook or a warm drink. Watch. Listen. Let the world slow down, and in that stillness, you'll be surprised at how alive you feel. I once met a retired teacher who started birdwatching after a friend gave her a field guide as a birthday gift. She thought it was silly at first. But one morning, she sat by her window and spotted a bright red cardinal, then a goldfinch. And something about the way they fluttered and called to each other made her heart feel light. Now, she keeps a journal of every bird she sees. She says it's her favorite part of the day. And maybe that's what this whole conversation is really about. Finding your favorite part of the day again. Because after 60, life isn't over. It's opening up in a new way. And the more you fill it with things that matter to you, the healthier, happier, and more energized you'll feel. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, but I've never had a hobby, that's okay. It's never too late to start. Try something. Try anything. And if you don't love it, try something else. This is your time to experiment, to be curious, to surprise yourself. Maybe you'll start baking just because the smell reminds you of your childhood. Or take up photography with your phone just to notice beauty again. Or maybe you'll join a local walking group, not because you need more steps, but because you crave connection. It all counts. It all adds up. And don't underestimate how much of an impact even one new hobby can have. It might give you a reason to get out of bed on a hard day. It might help you make new friends. It might strengthen your memory or ease your anxiety. It might even inspire someone else in your life to start living with more joy and purpose just by watching you. Because joy is contagious, so is energy. And when you choose to show up for yourself in these small but meaningful ways, you remind everyone around you what it looks like to keep growing, to keep blooming, to keep choosing life. So let me ask you, what's one thing you've always been curious about but never tried? What's something you used to love but haven't done in years? That's your starting point, not a finish line. Just a step towards something that feels more like you. And if this video gave you that little nudge, that little, I should try this, then I'm so glad you're here. You deserve hobbies that fill you up, that lift your spirit, and that support your health, mind, body, and soul. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's a hobby you love or one you're thinking about trying? Your answer could inspire someone else who's still searching. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more uplifting content made just for you. Also, I've included a few helpful tools and resources down in the description, things to help you get started with these hobbies, stay motivated, and feel supported along the way. These are affiliate links, which means if you use them, it helps support this channel at no extra cost to you. And finally, don't stop here. There's another video waiting on the screen right now that will help you keep growing, thriving, and living with intention. Go ahead and tap it. You've already taken the first step, and I'm cheering you on every bit of the way. Here's to finding joy again, to better health through simple pleasures, and to living your best life, one meaningful hobby at a time. You've got this.